They accused me of stealing a $20,000 watch, but it was just a bag mix-up. I know how that sounds. Trust me, when I say it out loud, even I feel like I'm lying. Because who accidentally takes someone else's bag from a gym and just so happens to pick the one with the $20,000 watch inside? Yeah, I get it. If I heard this story from someone else, I'd squint at them like, sure, buddy. Total accident, huh? But this really happened to me. And the worst part, one tiny, stupid, human mistake almost destroyed my life. I'm talking cops at my door, threats of felony charges, my boss asking if I need to take some time off, my girlfriend at the time crying because she thought she was dating a criminal, and me, someone who's never even stolen a pen from the bank, caught in the middle of a nightmare. And it all started on a day when I was just trying to get in shape. Let me rewind. I joined this fancy fitness club near my office. You know the type. Smoothies cost more than lunch, lockers that need your fingerprint, people walking around like they're training for the Olympics even though they're in accounting. I'm not fancy. I'm the guy who brings the same gym bag since college. Zippers half broken, smells permanently like hope I washed this last week. But I'd bought a new bag recently, a plain black one with a small gray stripe. A discount model, definitely not high end. But hey, it was clean and it didn't look like it had survived a war. So that day, after work, I hit the gym, got dressed in the locker room, and left. Everything felt normal, until it very suddenly wasn't. When I got home, I tossed the gym bag on the couch, grabbed a protein shake from the fridge, sat down, and opened the bag to pull out my clothes. But the moment I unzipped it, my stomach dropped. The clothes inside were not mine, and then I saw it, a small velvet box. The type jewelry stores give you when you drop more money than you can admit out loud. For one insane second, I thought, did someone propose at the gym? Nope. Inside was a watch so shiny, so polished, so gloriously out of my league that I didn't even want to breathe near it. I Googled the brand name. It might as well have slapped me in the face. $20,000? My heart started beating stupidly fast. Sweaty palms, dry throat. You know that warm panic that starts at the base of your neck and creeps up like fire? Yeah, I was simmering in it because at that moment, I wasn't thinking, oh no, someone's missing their watch. I was thinking, who is missing their watch? And how fast can I return this before they think I stole it? So I called the gym. No answer. I called again. Nothing. It was late. They closed in 10 minutes. I threw the bag over my shoulder and sprinted out to my car like I was carrying a bomb. By the time I got to the gym, the doors were locked and the lights were out. Perfect. I went home, placed the bag on my kitchen table like it was radioactive, and tried to sleep. Spoiler, I didn't. The next morning, I was waiting outside the gym before they even opened the door. I walked up to the front desk and explained everything, maybe a little too loudly and definitely a little too nervously. The girl at the counter blinked at me like I'd handed her a newborn baby and said, I need to get the manager. 5 minutes later, the manager walks out. Tall guy, sharp haircut, the type who probably moisturizes twice a day and judges people by how neatly their socks are folded. He listens to my story, nods, does the polite corporate smile, and then says the words that would ruin my entire week. We actually had a member file a complaint this morning. He says someone stole his bag. Stole, not picked up by mistake, not got swapped, stole. I felt like the floor dropped an inch. I kept repeating that it was an accident. I even opened the bag right there so they could see I hadn't touched anything. I offered to meet the person. I offered to explain. I offered to do anything short of tattooing "I'm innocent" across my forehead. But the manager wouldn't give me the guy's name. Privacy policy. He said he'd handle it and that I should expect a call. You ever hear a phrase that sounds innocent but feels like a death sentence? Yeah, that one. I went to work trying to pretend everything was fine, but every time my phone buzzed, I nearly launched it across the room. Late afternoon, my phone rings, unknown number. I swear the air got heavier. I answer. The voice on the other end is ice cold. Is this the guy who took my bag? Not hello. Not who is this? Just straight to accusation. I explained everything. Slowly, calmly. But he wasn't having it. He said his watch had sentimental value. He said he'd had issues with people stealing stuff before. He said gym staff told him I had the bag. And then he dropped the bomb. I already filed a police report. They'll be contacting you. You ever feel your soul try to pack its bags and leave your body? Yeah. That. Here's the thing about being accused of something you didn't do. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters what looks true. A random guy walking out of a gym with a bag containing a $20,000 watch? Yeah, that looks bad. I took the bag to the gym, handed it back myself, signed a paper saying I returned everything exactly as I found it. The manager thanked me and said they'd take it from here. I went home thinking it was over. It wasn't. 3 days later, I'm getting ready for work. Someone knocks on my door. Firm, rhythmic, official. I open it, 2 police officers. My throat closed instantly. They asked if they could come inside. I stepped back mechanically. My mind was screaming, "This is ridiculous. Why is this happening?" They asked me to explain everything. I told the same story again, word for word, every detail. And one of the officers, the older one, leans back in his chair and says, "The victim says the watch was damaged." My jaw dropped. What? No, that's impossible. I didn't even take it out of the box. He raised an eyebrow. You know that look cops give you when they're trying to decide whether you're dumb or lying? That one. I insisted I didn't touch it. Didn't wear it, didn't do anything except panic about it. They scribbled notes, whispered to each other, and then said, "Well, we'll investigate. You're not being arrested today, but don't leave town without contacting us. We may need more statements." Not being arrested today, that word sits in your chest like a brick. After they left, I sat on the couch and stared at the wall for a full hour. One misunderstanding was snowballing into something huge, unstoppable, and terrifying. The next day, everything in my life started cracking. My boss called me into his office. He asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes. He said someone from the police department called HR asking for employment verification. He didn't press me for details, but he didn't need to. His face told me enough. If this went any further, my job was on the line. My girlfriend looked at me like she didn't know who I was anymore. She asked if there was anything I wasn't telling her. You know that phrase that partners use when they're trying to be gentle but still suspect the worst? That one? I felt dirty, ashamed, even though I hadn't done anything wrong. It's wild how fast your image can break, how fragile your reputation is, how fragile you are. A few days passed with radio silence from the police. Every time I got an email, a text, a call, my whole body tensed up. Then the gym manager called, said he needed to clarify some details. I drove there instantly because what else could I do? We sat in his tiny glass office by the smoothie bar. He cleared his throat. He looked uncomfortable. Then he told me something that made my blood turn cold. The owner of the bag insists the watch was working before the incident, and now it isn't. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because sometimes your brain just breaks. How could he possibly think I broke it? I didn't touch it. The manager sighed like he knew the situation was ridiculous, but couldn't say it out loud. And then he said, he's considering pressing civil charges. This was spiraling faster than I could keep up. I did what any desperate person would do. I called a lawyer, not a fancy one. Not one of those billboard injured. Call me now. Guys, just a regular dude with a small office and a coffee machine that looked older than me. He listened, didn't interrupt, didn't judge. Then he said something I'll never forget. Listen, you're innocent, but innocence isn't the shield people think it is. That hit harder than it should have. He told me to stop talking to the watch owner, stop calling the gym, stop explaining myself to anyone except him. He said, the more you talk, the more you give people ammo. Let me handle it. He contacted the gym, contacted the police, got statements, requested video footage, asked for timestamps. Days passed, then a week, then 2. Every day felt like waiting for a storm to hit. Finally, he called me with the results. You ready for this? He said. I wasn't, but I said yes. Then he told me the truth. The bag owner, this guy who went full detective mode on me, had taken his watch to a shop, and the technician confirmed something. The watch wasn't broken. It was dead because the battery had expired. That was it. That was the whole thing. A $20,000 watch that needed a battery swap. Something the owner should have known, because high-end watches like that don't last forever. My lawyer explained everything to the police. They dropped the case, no charges, no civil suit. Just like that, the nightmare evaporated. But the damage, that stayed. My girlfriend didn't look at me the same. My boss treated me more cautiously, like I was a walking liability. I felt paranoid going to the gym, paranoid being near strangers, paranoid touching anything that didn't have my name on it. Do you know what it's like to be innocent but feel guilty anyway? Like the world stamped you with a label you can't peel off? Even now, every time I see two identical bags, anywhere, airport, gym, store, my heart skips a beat. A simple mistake almost wrecked my job, my relationship, and my reputation. All because someone jumped to conclusions. And because sometimes life doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt. But here's the crazy part. I still don't blame the guy. Every expensive item comes with paranoia. Every loss feels like a theft. And in a world where people steal every day, everywhere, it's easy to assume the worst. Doesn't make it right. But I get it. The truth is, sometimes the biggest disasters in our lives happen not because we did something wrong, but because everything lined up perfectly for someone else to believe we did. And that's a terrifying thought. Anyway, that's the story of how a gym bag nearly ruined my life. And if you want to know the ending, I still go to the same gym, I still use the same bag, but now I stick a giant neon green luggage tag on it that says, "This one is mine," just in case